Good morning.
Good morning, Sarah.
How are you feeling today?
Pretty good, but beat up.
Yeah, we just had a rough workout. We had a 2K row test for time.
Yeah.
You have a PR today?
I did.
Sweet,
Thank
congratulations.
you. Thank you, yeah.
And then we had a pretty intense pull-up and box jump. Metcon after that. Yeah, you held up really well. I was impressed.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, that's 90 pull-ups that you did.
Oh, man, when you put it that way, that seems like a lot.
That's why it was so hard. Can you imagine a few months ago doing 90 pull-ups though?
No.
That's incredible progress.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We've been working hard.
So the last time we sat down to talk was in April. I think it was April 16th. And then today is Wednesday, July the 2nd. And a lot has happened. Back on April 16th, we were just getting started planning for a September 2026 Kokoro. And we had mapped out these 6-month periods to prepare for that event. And then on May 9th, I remember because I was at my sister's graduation. On May 9th, we got an email announcing the very last ever Seal Fit Crucibles, July 25th, 26th, and 27th of 2025. And so we had a choice to make because that was 11 weeks away from July 9th. And we had a lot going on. You have a lot going on at work. We added a baby to our family on May 30th.
Congratulations, it's precious.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you. And getting ready for this event requires an incredible amount of training.
In a short period of time.
Yes, and especially compressing it. And I'm curious to know what was on your mind. You, I think, had this amazing immediate reaction that was like, this is exactly right. It's exactly as it should be. This is a major mountain that we have to overcome, and it's part of the whole process. And I think that was a great attitude. And I was thinking, I think we can do it, but there's a lot of risk when you amp up your training that fast to have injury, overtraining, just generally speaking, struggle to get all the things done that need to get done. Mm-hmm. And you and I both needed to do a lot of work on our pull-ups. We'll certainly have 100 in the Murph and swimming practice, both 500-yard swim to prepare for and a 10-minute water tread. Couple minutes running, yeah. A couple minutes of treading water with hands overhead. So some stuff that takes some time to get used to and to develop the skill set to do. So we're in our 8th week. How's it gone?
It's been pretty intense. It's been all-consuming in many ways. The sense of partnership with you, like the accountability, knowing that you have a lot more going on and you still make your work, inspires me. So I don't know, I've been very fortunate that I have you as a training partner, as a buddy for the event, because that just keeps pushing me forward. I had to make some changes in my life to accommodate the increase in volume and increase in rest that I need to get, and just be very cognizant of the things outside of this objective that could cause me to get injured or disturb the fine balance that I think we've been achieving to make everything happen that needs to happen for us to be successful.
And it seems like you've made incredible progress. You feel good, you're performing really well, as evidenced by today. I feel like I've had different periods. So when we first got started, so like the week of May 12th or whatever, immediately ramping up the volume was tough from the standpoint that it was just a lot more than I was used to. And so I was feeling, after 2 weeks of it, I was feeling pretty fatigued and thinking, what am I gonna need to do mentally, physically to really keep up with this? And so, like you said, paying attention to recovery really became a core focus. So just doing a lot to try to get as much sleep as possible, stretching, ice baths. And I got into a place where I was actually feeling pretty good, like I was kind of catching up, and then we had a baby. So that's not super for sleep. And not that I should be the one complaining, but that meant that I needed to spend about a week and a half doing all my workouts at home. I think that was the toughest period, working out alone at this volume it was only like 8 days, but it felt like forever. And it felt like everything was a grind. And that was a great test of mental fortitude. Yeah. I don't think I have really appreciated how much coming to class and having coach and peers who are exercising together with me, training together, cheering me on, have such a profoundly positive effect on what it's like to work out and to push hard. And that's a huge takeaway from that period. So then I was really relieved when we came back working out in the way that we had been. We had a couple of good, solid weeks. Mm-hmm. And I haven't been able to quite perform like I did when I was just doing a CrossFit workout. You know, when you come and you've got one 15-minute Metcon, you can really crush it. It's just a different mindset to be able to stretch the work. For example, a typical schedule has been a Monday workout and then a workout together, some accessory work. You do row usually every Monday, and then I'll usually have a Krav Maga class later, maybe do some swimming. Tuesday, we come for the 5:30 class, we do a 6:30 class, we do a 7:45 class. And so just what our normal performance would be on any one of those classes is just not the same. And so getting used to like giving as much as you can without expecting to perform at your optimum, just also kind of a mindset shift.
And the heat.
In the last 2 weeks, the heat has been unbelievably tough. Yeah, so I think, you know, for me, we've had just these kind of periods that have been characterized by different kinds of challenges that we've navigated, and I think at this point, I feel like, wow, we're really in the home stretch, right? Like we basically have 2.5 weeks left, and that's not very much to finish dialing everything in and getting it squared away, but I think actually we've made so much progress that we're pretty darn close, and that feels really good. Very last week before the event, ideally won't do anything. I'll have a little bit of a challenge that week from the standpoint that I'll have a firefighter training intensive, and I'm not quite sure what to expect, especially if it's really hot. That's definitely going to be a hydration challenge. But we'll figure it out. We'll navigate it. And we've had a few things that we've planned and some things that we haven't planned. So we planned from the jump to do an 8-hour overnight training, which we did last weekend. And how are you feeling going into that?
I feel very excited. I feel prepared. I still didn't know what to expect, right? Because as you know, Coach Brad, he's very creative with his workouts, and he knows where we need to push and how to test us.
Yep.
He definitely tested me. He took me to very dark spots in my mind where I had to really fight against that inner voice that makes you want to scream and quit, and that's what I wanted out of the event. So he nailed it.
Yeah.
And many of those moments, you know, seeing you there with me and like you pull me out of that helped out. So I think it really simulated what that 50 hours is all about, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So it was, I feel great that we completed it, and I wasn't super sore after, which you know, it's completely different from other times of doing long events where I've been super sore. So that I think that means that our fitness level has, at least mine, has like improved significantly.
Yeah, I would agree. I think in general, I felt pretty good. I felt like from a training point of view, it was a great opportunity to kind of test our teamwork, because there were periods where I think I was feeling super fatigued and you were a great coach, and vice versa. And that's how it's going to go, right? It's certainly we have these events and there are people who show up and they're mentally defeated and they just keep getting more defeated. But for the most part, people show up and they've done a lot of mental and emotional work, and so it's really recognizing when the negative is starting to outweigh the positive and helping push people back into the positive mindset. And positive mindset is one of the big 4 kind of key tools to successfully securing these crucibles. And I think that being able to offer that to each other is really good. And it gives like God forbid there's a situation where we're not there for each other, it can be sort of, I can imagine what you would say if you were there, right? And vice versa, right? And or if we're both in a negative place, or we both see others in a negative place, we now have we can remind ourselves what it feels like and how to give that kind of feedback to bring people back. So I think that's really positive. We are both going to secure Kokoro.
Oh yeah. Oh,
and and I think that is going to feel like, at least for me, it's going to feel like one of the things, probably the thing that I have worked physically hardest for ever in my life. Harder than any marathon, that's for sure. And I think that one of the reasons that it will feel like it's such a profound accomplishment is being able to get through the periods when you think there's no more and you're at your worst, and actually follow that with some of your best performance. You know, right? So Friday night / Saturday morning, I don't know. I didn't pay too much attention to the clock. We're we're pretty fatigued, and then Brad's asking us to do 100 leg lifts or 100, low ab. You're right. And we're like, yeah, hold a log that's probably 50, 60 pounds, maybe more, while waiting for someone else to get something done. And you're thinking, there's no way. This is crazy. No way. And yet we do it.
Yeah.
And we do 100 more of something else, and 100 more of something else, and and our performance in some cases improved rather than getting worse, as you might expect. So I think that teaches you something really important about your mindset and your capacity. I think that's really valuable. Definitely sleep deprivation was the hardest part for me on Saturday. Man, anytime I tried to sit down, it was like, nope, gotta keep moving. It's not gonna work. It reminded me of being in the van and then overnight with the Kokoro guys who were just like, I'm gonna stay. No, I'm gonna stay. So yeah, and we have a sense of how that's gonna feel. And then and then at the unexpected, I had a belt test announced for Krav Maga, and this is the first time they've offered it in the last year. So like, as far as I know, it's offered less than once a year, so I really wanted to do it. Ended up being like a 4-hour ordeal, which was good. Yeah, it was just the next day. So that was good. Additional, where I was thinking like, oh man, I just went through all this, so how am I gonna show up and perform? And that too was like, I think really good. It was invigorating, and my ability to show up and just perform, even as other people around me were feeling pretty fatigued, I felt proud of that fitness.
You should be,
for sure. Yeah.
Even if you go to finally, sleep some Saturday night to Sunday morning, your body still needs recovery, and you went and did that, right? Like I was fatigued. Like I wasn't sober, I was fatigued. Even Sunday, I needed a rest too. So the fact that you went and did a 4-hour test, which is not just physical, I'm sure mental. You have to be very tuned into what's going on there. That shows right there that you conquer something there to be able to perform like that.
Yeah. For me, it was sort of like, that was my first kind of test, my first weekend of this Kokoro experience, where I really had to see what I was made of with someone paying attention. So that's good. When you think about kind of your priorities for the next couple weeks, what's really high on your list?
Hydration, rest, pull-ups. And just staying healthy.
Yeah, it's good that it's not a super long list too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think continuing to work on our pull-up protocol, which has been
very healthy.
Yeah, totally. I think that we use the 5-rep max fighter protocol, which I think is helping us both add a lot of volume.
Yes. Still got a little bit more to go, but it's definitely, you're right. I feel more comfortable, I feel stronger, I feel more attuned to my body as I do them, just to kind of understand where I need to really push to get up there. It's been super helpful.
Yeah, awesome. And then we're gonna have a swimming lesson tomorrow.
Yes, another one.
Yep. Working on getting more efficient in our swimming and practicing our treading water. Yeah. I think in both cases we can do 500 yards, but ideally we'd do it a little bit more smoothly. And just really try to enjoy the water experience, which will be, they'll have some water games for sure, which we want to learn to be nice and calm and equanimous for. I think I'll feel better. Maybe a couple times, maybe once this week and once next week, after we're really fatigued, we'll just run the PST just to kind of see how we perform when we're fatigued, and just kind of test out like anything slow us down on our push-ups, pull-ups, sit-ups, or air squats. I feel like that's probably going to be no big deal, but good to have that confidence that we can nail it. Mm-hmm. And
I feel like we're going to crush it. Like we're going to do way better than we expect, because we work so hard, and we've always, like every time we do stuff here, like we've done like so much prior. Definitely. I think we're going to be so much fresher, we're going to perform so well, and here when we do those PSTs, it's with all this accumulated,
Yeah, true.
Yeah, so I think we're going to do very well.
I think you're right. Making sure that we show up with a proper amount of hydration and sufficiently rested for what we're going to be asked to do is going to be key. And hopefully this wild amount of training is going to pay off.
Oh, it is already paying off. We did the For Honor, remember, event?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the dry try.
The dry try. At least I performed way better than I've ever done, and that was really nice to see. Like my running improved significantly. I mean, it was a lot of work. It's been a lot of work. But the fact that we individually did all those three things combined, and we weren't dying at the end, that was, I think, major for us, right?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I personally felt like going through basically being 2 weeks after my son was born, being able to just show up and do a dry try after a week of intense training and perform really pretty well. Felt great. Then even we did Murph on Memorial Day, and it was not Murph's never easy, and that's part of the idea. But we performed really well.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah,
in the 40-minute range, and we'll have plenty of time. Obviously, we'll be more fatigued in the event when we do it.
Do you remember when, I think there was a moment when I was physically exhausted, and then we got in the ice tubs, right? It's like we sat there, had one of us do stuff, but the other sat there, then dunking there, and I remember at one point we were really cold, right, or whatever, even though we both been training and are used to that, but it's a different story when you're tired, when you're sleepy, when you're
exactly.
outdoors,
Yep.
when you're in there for a while. But remember how well we continued to perform after, it gave us a shot of
Right, yeah.
I won't forget that, because that then.
Yeah, I mean, we were both actively shivering, teeth chattering, and then I think I was almost like the sort of blood turnover was like, okay, our muscles have relaxed and we can get back at it. Yeah.
Once I regained feeling on my feet.
Yeah, and I think actually that's one thing that people are really worried about the ice baths in these crucibles, but they're the best gift you can get.
Yes.
You're thank goodness.
I remember you told me at brass, you earned it. Heck yeah, I earned it. And we went in there this is really cold and comfortable. It's fantastic.
Yeah, right, exactly. For one thing, you're sitting still for a second. That's pretty cool. But the effect that it has on your system is pretty remarkable. And I know there's a bunch of new research on how women should be more careful with their ice baths, but I think for this scenario and this level of intensity, it's good.
It's a gift.
Yes, for sure. We'll have to do this again before we head out to the event, but any other parting thoughts or aspirations for us going forward?
So I thought we wanted to touch upon something we're doing outside of training, because remember when our first video, we're like, well, how are we gonna make this fun, right? And that's with us thinking hey, we're gonna have all this time, and we're gonna dedicate intense time to this, but that wouldn't be all consuming. Now it's all consuming, but how do we manage to maintain positive and to maintain that, I don't know, that drive?
Yep.
So I'm curious about how the stuff that you do outside training for these.
One thing, a goal that I set for myself is to try to have what I call high quality interactions with my family. So because I have to dedicate so much time to this and work and other things, it means that I have less time. And so one thing is to try to create really high quality time with my family, and to just use that as a point of connection, and to kind of use that as a refreshing part of my experience. So I try to do that every day, ideally with all of my kids and my wife. I think it's really easy when you have a lot going on to be like, I have to be on my phone and I'm not really paying attention to you, and so no phones. My older sons in particular are really good at saying play with me. So just actually playing with them. They want to show me what they want to do, but then they want me to have them get involved in what I'm doing, and using that. I think my 4-year-old who weighs 40 pounds just do some push-ups with me. So he climbed on my back and I did some push-ups, and then my 2-year-old who weighs 32 pounds climbed on, and I was like, oh, this is nice, this is easier. But then my 6-year-old who weighs 50 pounds was like, how about me? And I was like, oh man. But of course we did it, and that's become kind of a fun part of how we interact. So not worrying so much about me trying to multitask, but involve them in the stuff that I'm doing. That's one big one for sure. I don't have a ton of time to read, but I also have tried to kind of pick up just a handful of books that I have that I know are good sort of inspiring sources by people who have gone through Hell Week, or who have gone through really mentally taxing experiences. Just using that sometimes to remind myself that I shouldn't stay just focused on me. I know my own suffering all too well, but right, like it's really not about me. So helping myself, reminding myself to sort of step out of that is another big piece of it. And then breath work. I try to do the box breathing practice more rigorously than I maybe usually do. But those are some of my key activities. What about you?
So what I've been doing, some of the breathing we've done here together. Sometimes I do it at home. I've been taking some meditation classes, which have helped immensely, especially around visualization for performance, like things that help me like focus on something else while your body's screaming like stop. But if you do visualizations and the breathing that goes behind and all that, and the imagery and I don't know, just the energy flow, all that has helped me immensely. I use that every day at the gym. So and just being centered, being very focused outside or training, for other things, or and I don't lose balance in my mind around what's important to me, what matters. So that's been super helpful. I've also been taking salsa classes, for a couple months now, and that's been really good because it's fun. It's just plain good old fun, and I don't know. I know it's helped me get more in touch with my body, like be more aware of my body, not so much something that contains me or something that's part of me. I think like learning to like interact with it. It's been really fun. And then just spend time with my dog. So just like like you said, like high quality time, but I spend it with just like we're out on runs, or we're out enjoying the sun, or whatever it is, So that's little but impactful thing that's helped me explore new things too. Aside just training. So
awesome, good. So we need to keep that up. We need to make sure we're resting. We're gonna do a few fun things. Like I'm really looking forward to tomorrow. We're gonna spend some time. We're gonna do a workout, and then we're gonna ruck, and with a heavy pack, and then do some swimming, and I think it'll be fun. Like we remind us that we're gonna be out. Like when we're in Temecula, we're gonna be out in this beautiful desert area. It'll probably be easy to not pay attention to how beautiful it is around us, but if we just open our eyes and look around, it'll be like, people pay a lot of money to come here, and how you can hang out, and we get 50 hours. Most people waste some of their time when they're there sleeping. We're not going to do that. So
that is an amazing mental attitude. That's awesome.
That's right. So awesome, excellent. Here we go.
Good job. Let's keep it up. Thank you.